I've never known a love so steady. Even gold won't turn your tide. We flow together like an ocean, every low and every high. And I would have you anyway, dear, any way your heart could bear. Even if you had to leave me, I'd always be waiting here. Even when we are apart, I will keep you in my heart, and I wouldn't change a thing, even if I were the king. I've never known a brighter sunset, but every day I see it rise. I've never thought it could be better until I saw it in your eyes. Even when we are apart, I will keep you in my heart. I will hold the world at bay just to see you smile again. And when time begins to fade, I will love you just the same, and I wouldn't change a thing, even if I were the king.
What's up, everyone? My name is Kwale, and welcome to another LiveTALK COVID-19 series. I'm here proudly representing the U.S. Pan-Asian American Chamber of Commerce, serving as the president for the Northeast region. Before we kick off the show, I want to let you know how to do business with the Federal Reserve. I want to tell you what's on my mind really quick, and we're entering our 5th month since the start of the pandemic, and sadly, I'm still seeing business closing left and right and continue to increase our unemployment. So for those who still have a business like myself, count your lucky stars. I don't take any of this for granted. So anytime there's opportunity to win big for your business, I would just jump on it as soon as possible. That's why we're doing the show today. It's about helping business succeed and moving the mission forward. So take advantage of the content that we're producing. So with that, engage with us, as there are tons of opportunities to win. Smash the like button, send the comments, email us at info@uspac.com, and we are here to help. So let's get started. So with us is Susan Allen, National CEO, President for the U.S. Pan-Asian American Chamber of Commerce. Welcome, Susan.
Hi, Quaz. Good to see you again. How was the weekend?
You know what? It's busy. Always busy for us.
Mine too, but I slept a lot. Just have to get ready for today. Today is a big day. LiveTALK is always a big day.
You know what? I'm excited about today's show because it's about the Federal Reserve. It's about doing big business with the governments. It's a massive opportunity. And as I was saying, there's so much layoffs. There's businesses getting drowned. And this is an opportunity. So I'm excited to sit back and, be educated as well. So I'm going to let you take the podium, and it's all yours, Susan.
Well, thank you very much for your partnership, Quaz. Since COVID-19, we launched this program on March 30th, remember?
Yep.
3 days after the President signed CARES Act into action, and we cranked into action ourselves and started COVID-19 series #1, March 30th.
Absolutely.
Through your good technology, engineering, your producing work, and then now we are on LiveTALK 13. Thanks again.
You're welcome.
And welcome, everybody. I'm Susan Allen from the U.S. Pan-Asian American Chamber of Commerce. This is LiveTALK 13, How to Do Business with the Federal Reserve System. Who are they? What do they do? What do they need to buy? $1.9 billion a year to support this Federal Reserve System. How do small and minority and women-owned businesses get a piece of that action, a bite of that pie of $1.9 billion a year? Well, to tell us all that is a good friend of 7 years, Melissa Williams, as the Supply Diversity Program Manager for the Federal Reserve Board, Board of Governor of the Federal Reserve System. She's responsible for making sure that the Federal Reserve System's purchasing processes include women and minority businesses. Melissa, where are you? Show up and tell us all about that.
Well, hello, Susan. Thank you.
Well, let me start this conversation by posing the first question to you. What is the Federal Reserve Board? What is the Board of Governors? What is the banking system that we call the Federal Reserve? Tell us about it.
Okay, Susan, thank you for having me today, and more importantly, having this platform for me to be able to share with your members how to do business with the Federal Reserve System. I think it's excellent that you have put together a series of live talk shows for members to get pertinent information to keep their businesses going. And again, we thank you for this platform. So to tell you a little bit about the Federal Reserve System, the Federal Reserve is the central bank of the United States. And our role is to, with the Central Bank of the United States, and our role is to promote the economy, a healthy economy. We have 5 key functions, and we have 3 key primary entities. We're the Board of Governors, located in Washington, D.C., the 12 reserve banks, and the FOMC committee. That makes up the Federal Reserve System.
All right. I just mentioned $1.9 billion of purchases in product and services. Do you get to, the Board of Governors get to buy all of that? Spend all of the money?
No, actually that is cumulative with the reserve banks, the National Procurement Office, and our Federal Information Technology Group as well. So together we make up the $1.6 billion in spend. And Susan, we are open for business. We are looking for small minority and women-owned businesses to do business with. So definitely, yes, that's what makes up our spend, the system as a whole. And I would tell you, we actually put our contracting officers' information on the website. We have real live names to reach out to so that people can know how to reach us, or they can email me and we get them in to do a capability briefing. And we just want people to know we're open to do business with, and we're easy to do business with.
Melissa, I know that in the 7 years I've known you, I know that you have always come to our national conferences that happens every June, and you bring your goodies, the bag of goodies, which are the opportunities, and to meet our members, and I appreciate that. So 1.6 billion, well, I exaggerated a little bit, pardon me. If a smaller minority business, an Asian-owned company, would like to do business with you, the Board of Governors, or one of the 12 banks and the 24 branches, how do they start? Where do they go? Email you? You'll be bombarded with a lot of emails, Melissa.
And you know, Susan, the one thing that I will tell you, that each of the reserve banks are open for business. They can email me directly, or they can reach out to the reserve bank they would like to do business with, reach out to the Supply Diversity Program Manager, and they will actually meet with them. What we like for them to do is to know a little bit about what they want to do with us, the type of products or services they want to offer us. So yes, we're very easy to reach. All of our information is out on the board's website. I provide all the contacts for each of the reserve banks if they would like to reach out to a reserve bank of their choice, or they can just simply email me and I can make a virtual introduction for them.
Great.
Real,
Well,
real,
after
real,
this, live talk, then we can post your email in the public
yes.
domain so that they can all reach out to you and through you to be introduced to the other branch supply diversity managers and even program managers. When we talked about this live talk today, I had asked you to bring some goodies, some of the opportunities that the system is looking to buy in the next 18 to 24 months. Would you share that with us today?
Yes, Susan, the board has its own summer series of webinars that we're doing because we're unable to go out in person to do outreach as we've always done. So next week, we're actually hosting how to do business with the Federal Reserve. We're actually going through how to respond to our solicitation. So we want vendors to be successful. So we're going to provide them pertinent information, tips on responding to those, to the solicitations and the RFQs. And in addition to that, we're actually doing targeted webinars specifically to acquisitions that we will purchase before the end of the year. For instance, on August the 25th, we're actually doing a webinar with the program managers to discuss web application that we have coming up. We have an iCloud infrastructure. All of those solicitations will be discussed with the program manager. So if your members would like to join in on that webinar, it's free. They get to talk to the program managers. They get to ask questions. And that's just a few that we have. We also have fulfillment coming up with printing. We have janitorial. We have a design and graphic service. We have several solicitations that we have coming up next year. And Susan, all the ones that I just mentioned, they will be procured this year. So these contracts will be awarded by December 31st. So please, by all means, have your members join those webinars so they can meet those program managers and understand the requirements to do business with us, as well as to learn about those solicitations. Also, another really good one, next year we're going out with consulting for HR as well as training. So we have some really, really good acquisitions coming up in the next 12 months, really.
Great, wonderful. So I got the basic questions on. They could contact the federal system through you and also through the website. Out of the many years that you have been attending our events, have you found any suppliers, whether Asian, other minorities, and diverse businesses you have met that you've been able to do business with them?
Yes, Susan, as a matter of fact, you know, being a member of the U.S. Pan-Asian Chamber of Commerce, membership definitely has its privileges. We have met several of your members that they're doing business with us, and they provide us excellent service. We actually look at the relationship we have with your members who are doing business with us as a strategic partner to provide the board with the solutions and products that we need to actually carry out the mission. We look so forward to celebration. As you know, I mean, we look forward to that. Actually, I attended my first celebration in California, and I actually met a vendor during that time. And again, we have a strategic partnership with them, and they provide us excellent service. It's Anne and her team with AMCUS. As a matter of fact, I think we have Anne with us today to share with you just how easy it is to do business with the board.
Okay, shall we invite Anne in?
Yes, please invite Anne in. But what I would like to do, you can bring Anne on, but I want to tell you a little bit about Anne and her team. Anne is the CEO and founder of AMCUS, a minority woman-owned company. She's a technology entrepreneur with more than 18 years contributing toward the design, the development, and the delivery of leading edge technology. Anne and her team, when we met, they were a small company. Today, they are a large company. And I contribute Anne's success to invested in her people, processes, and the infrastructure. Globally, she has over 1,400 employees. And the beauty about Ann investing in her employees, even during this pandemic, she has not furloughed any of her employees. Ann, will you join us?
Absolutely, Marlita. Greetings. Good afternoon, Susan and Marlita, and greetings to all, and welcome to US Bank's Live Talk on how to do business with the Federal Reserve System. Really excited to be here.
And thank you so much for joining us. So Susan and I were just talking about small and minority and women-owned businesses doing business with the Federal Reserve. And I know you've been with us for quite some time. So rather than me kind of talk about how easy it is to do business with the board and the system, I thought perhaps you can share with the vendors just how easy it is to do business with us.
Sure, absolutely, Marlita. We'll be more than happy to share our perspective as a supplier on how easy it is to do business with the Federal Reserve System as a whole. So ladies and gentlemen, we met, my team and I, we met Marlita for the first time in California. Can you believe it? We are headquartered here in Chantilly, Virginia, but when we attended the US Back conference in California, well, you know, my team and I met Marlita for the first time. So Marlita, I would say, even though the Federal Reserve System looks pretty complex, because if you think about it, you have the Federal Reserve Board, the Board of Governors, you have 12 banks, and you have the Federal Open Market Committee. If you look at it, it looks pretty complex, but I still would say that it's still easy to do business with the Federal Reserve System, because the people that work within the Federal Reserve System are very passionate of what they do. You all do invest your time and money in hosting several outreach events and bringing potential vendors up to speed on not just how to do business with the Federal Reserve System as a whole, but also you know, how to expand your presence within the Federal Reserve System. And the second main reason why I say it's pretty easy to do business with the Federal Reserve System is because people are very open-minded. They're very open to connecting with potential vendors, learning more about them, learning more about their business, and having them connect to some of the key stakeholders within the Federal Reserve System so that we get invited to bid. So there's a lot of time and money that's invested by the Federal Reserve System representatives and stakeholders in making sure that potential vendors soon become vendors, and also to ensure that vendors continue to expand their presence within the Federal Reserve System. So as long as the business is in good standing, they're financially stable, and they've continued to do work with utmost honesty and integrity and have the experience working in the regulated market or regulated industry, I think it's fairly easy to do business with the Federal Reserve System. But they do pay a lot of emphasis on honesty and integrity, because think about it, right? It's heavily regulated. They have Congress oversight, and they want to, when they look for suppliers, just like how Marlita mentioned earlier, they're not just looking to add a vendor or bring in a supplier. They're looking for strategic suppliers who could help the Federal Reserve Board, Board of Governors, or the banks, or the FOMC navigate through some of the challenges and bring the projects to finish line. I think people that work within the Federal Reserve System has made it easy for potential vendors. And no matter what, I mean, if you go ahead and attend some of the technology or the procurement or the diversity conferences, you would see many of the stakeholders from the Federal Reserve System manning that booth. You would see stakeholders from, you would see Marlita and her team from the Federal Reserve Board and Board of Governors, and then you would also see several program managers from other banks. And when they come really prepared. And when I say they come prepared, they come with, they do keep some of the upcoming bids in mind. And when some of the potential vendors walk up to them and talk to them about, you know, what are some of, share the capabilities and talk to them about how to do business, they are there not just listening to you, but they're also there mapping your capabilities to some of the upcoming bids and getting you introduced to some of the stakeholders, you know, in the coming weeks. So I think people make the difference. Although the procurement process within Federal Reserve System is decentralized, I think people within the Federal Reserve System, there's several, and in fact, many of the advocates advocates and champions out there who want to see potential vendors become vendors, and who also want to see existing suppliers continue to be expanding their presence within the Federal Reserve System. So absolutely, Margaret, I would say it's easy to be doing business with the Federal Reserve System.
Well, thank you, Anne. I just want to add, Susan, as Anne mentioned, doing business with the system, the board is an independent government agency, and the reserve banks, as I mentioned, are the operating arms, and they're more like nonprofit corporations. So, Anne, when you were doing business with the board, so you're doing business with the federal government, you're doing business with banks, can you share some advice to a small minority or just a vendor in general on any advice that would be helpful to kind of navigate it? Because we may be intimidated because it's 15 different opportunities, but I like to tell people it's really, really easy, and we like to help them navigate. But can you share your experience on and advice on how easy it is?
Sure, absolutely. So Marlita, from our perspective, we started supporting the Federal Reserve Board of Governors since 2015, and we are still supporting them. So we were brought into, we have two major contracts where we've been supporting the Federal Reserve Board and Board of Governors. And then we, thanks to program managers like you, Marlita, you've been very instrumental in our success and growth within the Federal Reserve System. Several program managers within the Federal Reserve Board and Board of Governors have got us introduced to some of the stakeholders within those banks. And today we not just do business with the Federal Reserve Board, but we also do business with the Federal Reserve banks. So Marlita, from our perspective, some of the tips that I would suggest to some of the potential vendors is start small. And if you decide to start supporting the Federal Reserve Board of Governors, the first thing is they made the entire process very easy and simple. So if you just go visit federalreserve.gov, even the vendor registration process, it's very simple. I know suppliers do get intimidated when clients direct them in the direction of supplier registration, but if you go to federalreserve.gov and go click on the vendor registration or the supplier registration, believe me, they're not asking for tons of information. All that they're asking for is your company details, your federal tax ID number, your DNB number, your NACES codes, and then define your company, right? Is it diverse or non-diverse, small or large, and then go ahead and submit. And once you do that, once you go ahead and reach out to program managers like Marlita with the Board of Governors, as well as other program managers within banks, they will help navigate you through. And once the trust and confidence is built, they would go ahead and share your details with some of the key stakeholders on some of the upcoming opportunities a bit, so that you get a chance to bid. I want people to know that they do not publicize all of their bids or the upcoming RFPs to public. You have to be invited to bid. So if it is a smaller dollar value contract, they would go ahead and do a sole source. But if you are, bidding on some of the complex projects, then they go the competitive bid route. So through the competitive bid process, we won two contracts with the Federal Reserve Board and Board of Governors. And then we slowly try to expand our presence within the Federal Reserve System. And today we also have prime contracts with some of the banks where we're doing project-based work, and we also have some banks where we're supporting the managed service provider. So start small and then expand your presence within the Federal Reserve System, because you guys just heard Marlita say they're spending over $1.6 billion. So, and one good thing of them having a decentralized procurement process is today, for example, if you decide to start reaching out to some of the banks within your region or territory, as I mentioned, there are 12 banks which are spread across the United States. So say, for example, if you're based in New York or New Jersey, you want to reach out to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. They have their own procurement process, right? You may want to go ahead, complete that small short vendor form and start reaching out to the program managers. And in case of the smaller dollar value contracts, they would go ahead and do a sole source. If it is a larger contracts, complex contracts, you want to be part of that competitive bid where they'll invite you to bid. because it's not centralized and it's decentralized procurement process. Today, Federal Reserve Bank of New York may have a need, but that same need tomorrow, Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta may have that, or Chicago might have the other day, or St. Louis may have the other day, or San Francisco may have the other day. So I think it's important that you start small, start with one particular business unit, and then slowly try to expand your presence within the entire Federal Reserve System. The other thing that I want to bring to the attention of the audience is there have been times when some of the potential vendors have asked me, and what if you don't have the past performance supporting any of the business units within the Federal Reserve System? Or do you stand a chance? And I would say absolutely. If you remember, I did mention they're very open-minded. As long as you have the experience supporting any of the financial clients, you're good. Share that story, how you've helped some of your customers navigate through some of the challenges that they've had. Even if you don't have experience supporting some of the financial clients, talk to them about some of the experiences that you've had supporting some of the customers in a regulated industry segment, right? So you just have to share your story, and please help them help you. And what I'm trying to say by that is, the more information you give them, the more you talk about your company, the more they know you. The more they know you, they'll be able to connect you to some of the key decision makers within the Federal Reserve System, and you hold a chance of being invited to bid. And once you submit a very good, compelling proposal by backing a strong management as well as a technical proposal and pricing it right through your cost proposal, believe me, you hold a very good chance of being, awarded prime contracts. And the other thing that I want to mention about doing business with the Federal Reserve System is there's so many champions and advocates out there that they really want to see you succeed. So they're not just champions of supplier diversity, they're champions to the entire supplier community. They really want to see you succeed. So be patient, be focused, start small, and then expand, because there's so much that the Federal Reserve System has to offer. And please take advantage of all that the Federal Reserve System has to offer through their outreach events, through their vendor meetings, through their pre-bid meetings as well. You really want to go reach out to them, even during these unprecedented times when there are no in-person meetings or conferences. They're still hosting virtual meetings and webinars so that you could, learn a lot on not just how to do business, but also how to be successful as a supplier. So those are some of my tips to success, and that's how we've continued to expand our presence within the Federal Reserve System. And I can tell you one thing, Marlita, my team loves working with the Federal Reserve Board as well as the Federal Reserve banks and the entire Federal Reserve System because of the people. People make the difference.
Wow. Thank you so much, Ann. Wow, that was a lot. Yes, we hang our hat on being easy to do business with, and we do like to form those strategic partnerships. I just want to kind of reiterate, we are the board, an independent federal government agency. We do often buy some products off a federal supply schedule for those of you who are accustomed to doing business with the federal government. But we're very, very easy to do business with. So as Susan will make my contact information available, so that if you have specific questions, I will also give her information so you can join our upcoming webinars and to learn more about these procurements that these contracts that we're going to put in place before the end of the year. And I like to, Ann, since we're kind of collaborating here, to just share with you and to get your opinion, the benefit that I've gotten from being a member of the U.S. Pan-Asian Chamber of Commerce. Susan, did you want to add anything before we talk about the benefits that we get from being a member?
Well, Ann has so much to share. It is from her years of experience in the supply diversity marketplace, where she has been doing business as a minority, as a women-owned business. And she does her homework. She's very sincere. She's a major supporter of our organization. She is a champion of our programs. She brought a lot of value to us and other organizations. I must say, I'm saying it on national television, and then people notice Ann because of our work. Other organizations do the same thing that we do, have the similar mission, but have a different niche. They are women-owned, they are disability, they are African American, more focused on African American, even Hispanic business focused organization, which is what this country is all about. We are a special interest country. They all take a page out of what we do and what Anne does, because when there's a good practice, why not emulate it? So Anne has been a great champion. I hope that all of you will play this again. Go to our website, go to YouTube and replace what Anne has said. Those are true wisdoms that she has collected through the many years that she has been in the contracting marketplace, both in the federal as well as in the private marketplace. Melissa, I think Anne has said a lot, and she gave a lot of kudos to the supply diversity managers in the ecosystem, whose goal is to make sure that minority and women and diverse businesses succeed. Many of them are. Some pay good lip service, I must say, and they have yet to be pulled into the ring. Okay, bring them into the ring. Some corporations of supply diversity manager are not quite there yet, but they're trying. They're trying, and we need to help them out. But many of the majority of them really try hard, but they need the corporation, their employers, to give them the resources. Give them the resources to get to the program. Give them a budget, not ask them to pay membership through credit cards. Okay, $5,000 credit card. You're kidding me? There's some corporations who are still doing that. So, Melissa, why don't you share out of your own personal experience? And you have so much experience. Before this, you were in Alabama. You were in charge of supply diversity in the state of Alabama's utility company. Your heart is in the right place. You've been doing your best with the Federal Reserve Board, and you've brought in other folks into our ecosystem. Through your suggestion, we work with the Federal Reserve Bank in San Francisco, in Dallas, in New York, and in Richmond, Virginia. It's because of you. So why don't you? I know that the benefit that we gain from being associated with you. Why don't you share what you have gained from us?
So the benefit that I get from the US PAC Chamber is Susan's energy. Susan has energy that it just absorbs, and she's an advocate for her members. She makes sure that she has representation. Everywhere I am, Susan is always there representing her organization, and as an advocate for her members. It was just that we looked at her membership, and Susan actually came. She supports all of the outreach that the board has, from our diversity and inclusion initiative to our vendor initiatives. And we wanted to form a partnership with her because we knew that she would have the caliber of vendors that could definitely provide the board with its services and its products. And like I said, the membership has its privileges because we're able to hone in on a group of skilled vendors to provide us with the goods and services at competitive prices. So again, we wanted you to know that we are, even during these unprecedented times, that we still are open for business. And Susan knows that we have these acquisitions coming up that we're going to put in place before the end of the year. And we just wanted you to be a part of it, to have an opportunity to participate in the acquisition process. And it's because of Susan's energy, the memberships of all the wonderful vendors that she has. It gives us access to her database so we can tap in to find those vendors to provide us those goods and services. So we look forward to that. We look forward to celebration. I can't wait till we get back to what the new normal will be so we can enjoy celebration as we always know it to be wonderful. So those are the benefits.
That's right. Thank you so much for mentioning the database. Not only do we have a database of over 10,000 Pan-Asian Americans in diverse industries across the country, but we know how busy some of you guys are having to deal with the fulfillment. Whenever you have a special request for a particular type of vendors, suppliers, you give us the specifications and we look for them into our database for you. Not only do we give you our top 5 or top 6 vendors who fit your profile, we also vet them out first. We contact them to make sure they are still in that category of supply of product and services, and make sure that they have the bandwidth to add more business to their processes. So USPAC distinguishes ourselves from other organizations in this way because we are relatively customized, and we're a relatively customized organization because we want to make sure that once you are a member, sponsor of our program, we want to make sure that you get more out of it. You give us $1, we give you $1.50 back if we could, because we want to win your support. We are here for the Asian American and other diverse businesses. That's what this COVID-19 series is all about. We have been busier than before. We do more work when we're doing things at home than we were doing things at the office with the whole group together. We have also not furloughed or laid off anyone. We are holding on to hope, and we are happy to say that we have been successful in keeping everybody busy and also keeping all of you informed as to what's going on with the economy, with the job searches, with the contract opportunities, and with the PPP program, as well as the PPP loan forgiveness program. Once again, Melissa, I want to thank you for coming in and joining us today, and thank you for that long experience that you have shared with us. The details you share show how good you are, how diligent you have been in studying your clients. And in our business, the first admonition that I always hear from the buying parties, whether it's government, quasi-government, or the corporation or large nonprofit, is do your due diligence, study my pain, know where I hurt, know where my problems are, come to me with a solution. Just don't tell me what's your problem, and I'll have the answer for you. And your long answer to Malitha's question truly answer all those queries. Thanks again.
Thank you, Susan.
So this ends our COVID-19 series, LiveTALK 13, how to do business with the Federal Reserve System. Maybe I could invite our producer, Kwale, my partner in crime in this very, very successful, increasingly successful program. Kwa, would you come and show your face so that we can all say thank you to our wonderful audience who spent the time with us? I know this is a surprise. Kwa, why don't you tell people, we have a few minutes left, would you tell people what you do, what you have been doing with USPAC, and what you've been doing with your business?
Well, first of all, I'm helping my staff operate this whole operation that you see right here. So I'm looking left and right. Yeah. So we are thank you, Susan, for giving me some spotlight here. Always generous of you. We are a content creating company where we produce the live stream, the webcast that you see over here. Basically anything that you see on a 16:9 screen, we could put on screen for you. Marketing agency, I would say it's just a little bit more on steroids, because we'll also come in from a technical, production, and also strategic standpoint. During the COVID world over here, actually our business got skyrocketed even more, just because there's a huge need for everyone that needs to be able to communicate more effectively. And not only we do provide the technology, obviously everyone over here, you see that we actually provide you, making sure you look good, making sure that your name is spelled properly, you're advertised properly, and that's part of the show business. Now we do it all virtually, and just like and our mission is always about trying to help any business that is going to create impact in the world to succeed. Because when they succeed, we also succeed, and I feel like I get to be a part of that ecosystem to help people move things forward. So that's really it, Susan.
Great. Well, thank you. So to conclude the show, can I ask you to bring Melissa and Em back so that I can ask them one last thought that they may want to leave with the audience and the viewers?
Absolutely.
Melissa, would you like to go first?
Yes, again, Susan, thank you again for allowing me this platform to share the Federal Reserve. doing business with. What I would like to leave with your members is that reach out to us. We're open for business and we're easy to do business with. And I hope they can join us for these upcoming webinars to learn exactly which acquisitions we have coming up and meet the program managers.
Thank you. And
yes, so from my end, I would urge the audience, if you are not part of USPAC, please get yourself be active. USPAC is a great organization, and Susan Allen, under her thought leadership, she and the organization has taken this organization to newer heights. So be a part of USPAC. We've been a member of USPAC for over 13 years and can't tell you how much it's helped my team and I. Be part of USPAC, be active and engaged, because through conferences and some of those events that USPAC hosts is where you get to meet some key stakeholders and decision makers like Marlita. Magic happens there. So, look at USPAC, look at the website, reach out to the team. There's so much that they have to offer. You heard Kwa say as well. He's pretty active at USPAC as well. So take advantage of all that this organization has to offer. And as far as the Federal Reserve System is concerned, they're all good people. So go learn a little more about the Federal Reserve, and please help them help you so that you continue to be successful in the Federal Reserve System. With that, I hope all of you, please be safe, stay well, stay strong. Yes, we are in these unprecedented times, but bad times don't last for long. So hang in there. We're on this together, and don't forget the best is yet to come. So here's wishing all of you all the very best.
Well done. Well said. Thank you so much. And don't forget, USPAC is here for you. Follow us, whatever it is. Tweet us and share our messages. And remember, we're not just for Asian Americans. We have reached out since 10 years ago. We started working with other minority organizations such as the U.S. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the U.S. Black Chamber, and the NGLCC as well. So long for now. See you the next time. Have a very nice week. Bye.
I've never known a brighter sunset, but every day I see it rise. I never thought it could be better until I saw it in your eyes. Even when we are apart.